Commander Jae-wook walked slowly down the long white hallway of the big space station. The lights above him made a quiet buzzing sound as he moved. His hands were held tight behind his back and his face showed worry 3 months ago humans had joined the big group of alien races called the Galactic Coalition, but many aliens still did not trust humans. They thought humans were too weak to be real space soldiers. The huge metal doors made a soft sound as they opened. Captain So-young stepped into the hallway. She was not very tall, but something about her made people pay attention. Her black hair was pulled back neat and tight. Her eyes were dark and calm like deep water. She wore simple green army clothes, but the way she moved was like a cat ready to hunt. So-young had fought bad people in dark underwater caves. She had done secret missions in places so dangerous that most people would die in minutes. Just being there, Captain So-young stood up straight and said, her voice clear and strong, "Sir, I am here for the test you wanted." General Taemin was from a race called the Vorthak. He was much taller than any human and had 4 big arms that were crossed over his chest. His skin looked like green and brown snake scales that shined under the bright lights. His yellow eyes stared at So-young like she was some strange bug he had never seen before. Behind him stood 12 other aliens from different planets. All of them wanted to see what this small human woman could really do. General Taemin made clicking sounds with his mouth that his machine changed into words humans could understand. "Your people say they are very good fighters. You say human soldiers can fight anywhere and win against anything. We think this is not true. Humans have no hard skin like armor. You are not very strong. You cannot see or hear as well as us. How can you be good soldier?" So-young did not move at all. Her breathing was slow and steady like she was sleeping, but her eyes stayed sharp and ready. She had looked into the eyes of terrorists who wanted to kill her. She had fought enemies in flooded tunnels where one mistake meant death. A few aliens who did not believe in her did not scare her at all. Commander Jae-wook looked at the general and asked, "What kind of test do you want to do?" He had a bad feeling about what the aliens were planning. The big Vorthak general made more clicking sounds that almost sounded like laughing. "We have made many different challenges for your human combat fights to test how well she can battle, environmental tests to see if she can live in bad conditions, smart puzzles to see how well she can think and plan. If your captain can do all of these things, then maybe we will think humans are worth keeping in our coalition." But the aliens did not tell the humans about their secret weapon. Deep down in the bottom part of the space station, something dangerous was waiting in a very strong prison cell. The other alien races talked about it in whispers, calling it the perfect killer. It was a creature so deadly that even the bravest alien warriors were afraid to fight it. The aliens had made this thing to be the ultimate test for anyone who thought they were tough enough. The perfect killer had been made by scientists long ago to be the best fighter in the whole galaxy. It was faster than lightning, stronger than steel, and smarter than computers. It could kill in 1,000 different ways and had never lost a single battle. Every alien race knew about it, and every alien race feared it. So-young looked at General Taemin and nodded once. Her face did not change at all. "When do we start?" she asked. The general's yellow eyes got brighter as he thought about what was going to happen. "First, you will do the normal tests: combat training, environmental survival, tactical thinking. If you pass all of those, then we will see if you are ready for the real challenge." "What real challenge?" Commander Jae-wook asked, but he was afraid he already knew the answer. "The perfect killer," General Taemin said, and his voice got quieter. "If your human can survive a fight with our ultimate predator, then we will know that humans truly belong among the stars." So-young listened to all of this, and still her face did not change. She had been in too many dangerous situations to get scared now. She had jumped out of planes in the middle of storms. She had swum through underwater caves full of explosives. She had fought terrorists in burning buildings and saved people from sinking ships. A test was just a test, no matter how scary the aliens tried to make it sound. The other alien officers started talking to each other in their different languages. Some made clicking sounds like General Taemin. Others made musical humming noises. A few spoke in what sounded like static from old radios. They were all excited to see what would happen, but they were also nervous. None of them had ever seen a human really fight before. Deep down in the bottom of the station, the perfect killer felt something change. The air around him seemed different somehow. He could sense that something interesting was about to happen. His enhanced senses could detect the heartbeats of everyone on the station, and he noticed that some of them were beating faster than normal. Something was making the aliens nervous, and that made him curious. The perfect killer had been alone in his cell for many years. He had fought against the strongest warriors from dozens of different planets and had defeated them all easily. Most of the time his opponents died within the first few seconds of the fight. Some lasted a few minutes if they were very lucky or very good, but none had ever really challenged him. He was starting to think that maybe there was no one in the galaxy who could give him a real battle, but now the aliens were bringing him someone new. Someone they seemed both excited and worried about. This human female they were talking about seemed different from his usual opponents. The aliens were not sure she would lose quickly like all the others had. That made the perfect killer interested in meeting her. So Young followed General Taemin and the other aliens toward the testing area. She walked with steady, confident steps like she was just going to do regular training. Her breathing was calm and her heart beat at a normal speed. She was not trying to prove anything to these aliens. She was just doing her job like she always did. The job of a soldier was to be ready for anything, and she had been ready for a long time. The testing area was huge and white with different sections for different kinds of challenges. There were obstacle courses that looked like they were made for giants. There were combat training areas with targets that moved and shot back. There were puzzle stations with lights and buttons and screens showing complex problems. The whole place looked like it had been designed to break the spirit of anyone who tried to use it. But So Young just looked around calmly and said, "Where would you like me to start?" 3 levels down from where the humans were being tested lived the most dangerous creature in the galaxy. His name was Hyeon-soo, and he lived in a special prison cell made from the strongest metal known to any alien race. The cell had thick walls that could stop explosions and energy weapons, but Hyeon-soo could break out any time he wanted to. He just chose not to because he had nowhere else to go. Yoon-soo looked almost like a human when you first saw him, but that was a trick. His body had been made by millions of years of evolution to be the perfect killer. His muscles were stronger than steel cables and moved like liquid under his pale skin. His brain could think faster than the biggest computers. His ears could hear a heartbeat through solid metal walls. His eyes could see in complete darkness. His reflexes were so fast he could catch bullets fired from guns. But the strangest thing about Hyeon-soo was that he looked sad most of the time. He had been created to be a weapon, to test other warriors and see how strong they really were. He had fought against the best soldiers from every alien race in the galaxy, and he had killed them all easily. Most fights lasted only a few seconds because no one could match his speed and strength. Now Hyeon-soo was watching the human woman on his viewing screen. So Young was doing the tests that General Taemin had made for her. She moved through obstacle courses like she was dancing. She solved puzzles that had confused alien generals. She survived in poisonous environments that would kill most creatures in minutes. Hyeon-soo had never seen anything like it before. The way So Young moved was different from all the other warriors Hyeon-soo had fought. She was not trying to show off or prove she was better than everyone else. She just did each task calmly and efficiently like it was her normal job. Every movement had a purpose. Every decision was made quickly but carefully. She reminded Hyeon-soo of water flowing around rocks, always finding the best path forward. General Taemin spoke to Hyeon-soo through the communication system. "Get ready, perfect killer. The human has finished the basic tests. Now it is time for you to see if she is really as good as she seems." Hyeon-soo studied the information about So Young that appeared on his screens. Her heart rate had stayed normal during tests that should have scared anyone. Her body temperature had not changed even when she was in real danger. Her breathing had stayed calm and steady through everything. Most interesting of all, she had stopped several times to help other people even when it might hurt her chances of passing the tests. "Is very strange," General Hyeon-soo said. "What exactly do you want me to learn from fighting this human? We need to know if humans are really strong enough to be our partners in space, or if they are just lucky primitives who will break when things get really dangerous." Hyeon-soo watched the screen more carefully. He saw So Young notice that an alien worker had hurt his leg during one of the environmental tests. Without thinking about it, So Young ran over to help the injured alien. She used her medical training to stop the bleeding and called for help. She did not care that helping might make her fail the test. She just saw someone who needed help and acted immediately. "Tell me, General, do you really think making me fight her will answer your question?" Are our ultimate weapon Hyansu if she can survive fighting you then? Maybe humans really are as strong as they claim to be. Yunsu could smell the fear in General Taemin even through the communication system. He could hear the tiny shakes in the general's voice. The aliens were not really testing So Young to see. If she was strong, they were testing her because they were afraid of humans. They could not understand creatures. Who would risk their own lives to save strangers? They could not understand beings who kept fighting even when logic said they should. Give up, So? You want me to scare her until she breaks like all the others? Hansu said. You want me to prove that humans are just as selfish and weak as everyone else when they face death? That is exactly what we want. Hansu looked at the screen. Again, So Young was getting ready for whatever test came next. Her hands were steady and her eyes were calm. She was not afraid because she had decided long ago that some things were more important than being afraid, things like protecting innocent people and doing your duty even when it was hard. In that moment, watching this small human woman prepare to face whatever came next, Hehensu made a decision that shocked him as much as it would shock everyone else. He realized that for the first time in his long life, he did not want to fight someone. He did not want to hurt this human who reminded him that there were things in the universe worth protecting. Instead of destroying, the perfect killer had found something he had never expected to find, something that made him question everything he thought he knew about strength and weakness, about killing and protecting, about what it really meant to be powerful in a universe full of dangerous things. So Young finished checking her equipment and looked up at the camera that she somehow knew was watching her. She nodded once, as if to say she was ready for whatever came next, but Hyansu was no longer sure he was ready to be what came next. The command center became completely quiet when Hyansu spoke through the communication system. No, he said, and his voice was clear and strong. General Taemin moved his forearms in confusion and his scaled face twisted as he tried to understand. What did you say? Said, no, General, I will not fight. The human commander Jae-wook and Captain So Young looked at each other. Both of them were trying to understand what was happening. The perfect killer, the creature that every alien race used to scare their children, was refusing to follow orders. This cannot happen. General Taemin shouted, his yellow eyes blazing with anger. You were made for this purpose. Your whole life is about testing warriors to see how strong they are. Hansu made a sound that was like laughing, but also like wind blowing through metal. I was made to be a weapon, yes, but weapons can choose their targets. General, and I choose not to target. Here on the viewing screens, everyone could see Hyansu in his prison cell. He was moving like a hunting cat. Even though he was refusing to hunt, his pale eyes seemed to look right through the cameras at So Young, as if he could see something about her that the others could not see. You have watched her for only 3 hours. General Taemin said, what could you possibly learn in such a short time that changes everything? Hansu said simply, watch her again, General, really watch her this time. The screens changed to show recordings of So Young doing the tests. In one part, she solved a puzzle by putting herself in danger to save pretend civilians. In another part, she shared her water with a tired competitor from another planet. Even though it made things harder for her, she could have won more easily, but she chose to help instead. She does not fight because she loves violence. Hyansu continued, she fights because she loves the people she protects. She does not adapt because she is afraid. She adapts because she is determined. She does not succeed because she is stronger than everyone else. She succeeds because her will to protect others is stronger than her will to protect herself. Captain So Young stepped forward. Her voice was calm but curious. Why are you defending me? We have never met each other because I recognize something in you, Captain. We are both products of evolution, both shaped by millions of years of learning how to survive. But my people became perfect at killing, while your people became perfect at protecting. That is why I will not fight. Youth alien officers began talking to each other in worried voices. They had expected either quick human defeat or an exciting fight. They had not prepared for their ultimate weapon to refuse to fight at all. They did not know what to do when their most dangerous creature decided to become peaceful. General Taemin was getting more and more frustrated. If you will not test the human, then what good are you to us? Perhaps, Hansu said thoughtfully, the same kind of good that she is. Perhaps it is time I learned what it means to protect things instead of just destroying them. The command center exploded with noise as everyone realized what this meant. The perfect killer was not just refusing to fight, he was asking To join their side instead, he wanted to learn how to be like the humans, how to save lives instead of taking them. The implications were staggering. If the most dangerous predator in the galaxy could be changed by just watching a human for a few hours, what did that say about humans? What did it say about the power of choosing to protect instead of destroy? Boram, a scientist who studied predator behavior, ran into the command center, carrying her research tablet she had been monitoring. Hansu during the whole test, and her readings made no sense. His stress levels went down when he watched the human, she said breathlessly. That should be impossible for a predator meeting potential prey, should increase stress, not decrease it, but Hansu was not seeing So Young as prey. He was seeing her as something he had never encountered before, a warrior who fought not for glory or conquest, but for the simple reason that others needed protection, a being who had turned the brutal mathematics of survival into something noble and beautiful. General Taemin tried one more time to convince his ultimate weapon. You could learn so much by fighting her. You could test your abilities against a completely new type of opponent. I could learn more by fighting beside her. Hyansu replied, I have spent my entire existence being the thing that others fear. Now I want to try being the thing that others can depend on. I want to learn what it feels like to have someone trust me to keep them safe, instead of fearing me because I might kill them. The alien officers did not know what to say. They had built their entire military philosophy around the idea that the strongest fighters were the most valuable. Now their strongest fighter was telling them that strength meant something completely different. So Young listened to all of this, and then she did something that surprised everyone. She smiled. It was not a big smile, but it was warm and genuine, and it changed her whole face from professional soldier to caring human being. If you want to learn about protection instead of destruction, she said to Hyansu, then we should probably start with something easier than a fight. Maybe we could work together on something that does not involve anyone getting hurt. For the first time in his long life, Hyansu felt something he had never experienced before. Hope that he could be something other than a weapon. Hope that he could use his abilities to build instead of tear down. Hope that he could find purpose in creation instead of destruction. The test was supposed to prove whether humans belonged in the coalition. Instead, it had proven something much more important. It had proven that even the most perfect killer could choose to become a protector when shown a better way. Boram ran through the hallways of the space station as fast as she could. Her research tablet was pressed against her chest, and she was trying to understand the information that was coming from all the sensors watching Hyansu. The numbers made no sense to her scientific mind. This is impossible, she said to herself while looking at the data for the fourth time. His stress levels went down when he saw the human fighting that cannot happen with predators when they see prey. Their bodies should get ready for hunting. In the command center, the argument was still going on. Representatives from many different planets had come to watch this test, and now they were all confused and worried. They had thought they would see either a human lose quickly or maybe an exciting fight. Instead, they were watching their most dangerous weapon refuse to fight at all. Captain So Young stayed calm while everyone else was arguing. Her military training taught her to stay focused when others were panicking. She had asked to talk directly with Hansu, but General Taemin had said no, claiming it was too dangerous to let them speak to each other. With respect, General So Young said, and her voice cut through all the noise, if he wanted to hurt me, these walls would not stop him. Everyone here knows that is true. The truth of what she said hung in the air like a challenge. Everyone knew that Hyansu could break out of his prison anytime he wanted. The walls were not really keeping him locked up. He was choosing to stay there. Boram walked up to the viewing screen. Her curiosity as a scientist was stronger than her fear. Hyansu, may I ask you a question? Of course, Doctor. Your species evolved to be ambush predators, correct? Every instinct in your body should be telling you to test yourself against this human, but you refuse. Can you explain why this is happening? Yinsu was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice seemed to carry the weight of many years. Doctor, imagine you met a master artist, someone whose work was so beautiful it made you forget everything else. Would your first thought be to destroy that art? Or would you want to protect? I do not understand how that relates to our situation. Captain So Young is an artist, and her art is survival, not just keeping herself alive, but keeping others alive. She has taken the brutal reality of life and death and turned it into something noble. To fight her would be like burning a beautiful painting just to see If the canvas would catch fire, Commander Jaewook stepped closer to the screen. This was not the kind of conversation he had expected to have with the galaxy's ultimate weapon. You are saying humans are artists, I am saying humans are something we never expected to find in our galaxy, a species that chose to evolve their hearts instead of just their bodies. The alien officers looked at each other with uncertainty. This was definitely not the philosophical discussion they had planned to have. With their ultimate weapon explained, General Taemin demanded, look at your own species. General, the Vorthak developed 4 arms so you could use tools better. The Zephyrians evolved crystal nervous systems so they could think faster. Every species in this coalition chose to make their bodies or minds stronger to survive. Su paused, and the sensors showed his body becoming more relaxed and peaceful, but humans chose a different path. They kept their soft bodies, their limited senses, their slow reflexes. Instead, they evolved something else, the ability to care about others more than themselves, the strength to keep fighting when logic says they should give up, the wisdom to find hope when everything seems hopeless. Dr. Bioram tablet shook in her hands as she recorded every word. This was revolutionary thinking from a creature that was designed only to kill. That, Hansu said, is why I will not fight Captain So Young. She represents something precious in this universe, something that should be protected, not tested. But the aliens were still not convinced. They had spent so much time thinking about physical strength and mental abilities that they could not understand strength of character. They could not understand the power that came from choosing to help others even when it put you in danger. General Taemin tried a different approach. What makes you think humans are so special? What if you are wrong about them? What if they are just good at pretending to be noble but would become selfish when faced with real danger? Hinsu looked directly at the camera as if he could see right through it. To the general, watch her eyes when she helped that injured worker. Watch her breathing when she shared her water with the competitor. Watch her heart rate when she chose to save the simulated civilians. Instead of winning the test, the screens showed the recordings again, but this time everyone was looking more carefully at So Young herself instead of just what she was doing. Her eyes showed genuine concern when she saw someone hurt. Her body stayed relaxed when she gave away her advantages to help others. Her heart beat steadily when she made choices that put her mission at risk to save pretend people. A creature cannot fake those biological responses, Dr. Bioram said slowly. The body does not lie about what the mind truly values. Exactly, Hyansu said. She values other lives more than her own success. She values doing the right thing more than doing the easy thing. She values protection more than victory. Those are not traits that can be faked under stress. Those are the fundamental characteristics of her species. The command center became quiet as everyone thought about what this meant. If Hyansu was right, then humans were not just another warrior species. They were something entirely new, a race that had weaponized compassion and turned selflessness into their greatest strength. For the first time since the test began, General Taemin looked uncertain. Maybe we have been asking the wrong questions, he said quietly. Maybe we should not be testing whether humans are strong enough to fight alongside us. Maybe we should be asking whether we are noble enough to fight alongside them. 3 days passed while the Coalition Council argued about what to do. Representatives from 47 different planets had meetings and debates about what Hyansu refusing to fight really meant. Some aliens said the test had failed because no one had actually fought. Other aliens said that maybe the refusal to fight was the most important information they could have gotten. Captain So Young spent those 3 days in temporary rooms on the space station. She kept doing her normal training exercises and studying information about the coalition. She did not seem bothered by all the political arguing that was happening around her. Instead, she focused on learning about her new alien allies and understanding their different cultures. On the 4th morning, General Taemin came to her room with news that she had not expected. Captain, the council has made a decision. Your test is not finished yet. So Young looked up from the tactical manual she was reading. She was not surprised. What happens next, General? There has been trouble on mining station. Kappa 7 pirates have taken hostages, including several coalition civilians and a group of human engineers. The local security forces are not strong enough to handle the situation. A full military response would take days to organize, and the hostages might be dead by then. General watched her face carefully to see how she would react. The Council has decided that your real test will be a live mission. You will take a small team. To solve the hostage situation, if you succeed, it will prove that humans have real military value beyond any practice exercise. We could Krite So Young nodded and was already thinking about tactics and planning in her mind what resources will I have available. A standard coalition assault shuttle, basic weapons and equipment, and General Taman paused because he was clearly uncomfortable with the next part. The Council has also approved the temporary release of Hyunsu to go with you on the mission. So Young looked surprised for the first time since arriving at the station. The perfect killer wants to join a rescue mission. He specifically requested to be assigned to your team. His exact words were that he wanted to learn what it means to save lives instead of taking them. The Council decided that if you are willing to work with him, then this mission could test both of your abilities at the same time. For the first time since arriving at the station, So Young smiled. It was not a big smile, but it changed her whole face, making her look warm and human instead of just professional. When do we leave you? Our captain, I must warn you, this mission is very important politically. If you fail, it will be seen as proof that humans are not ready for full coalition membership. If you succeed, if we succeed. So Young corrected gently, it will prove that working together makes all of us stronger than we could be. Alone 57 minutes later, Captain So Young stood in the shuttle. They wearing full combat equipment. She was checking her weapons with the same careful attention she gave to everything else. The assault shuttle was humming with power, and its sleek design showed the best technology the coalition had to offer. Hyunsu came out of the transport pod that had brought him from his prison cell. When So Young saw him in person, he was both more and less scary than she had expected. His movements showed that he was incredibly powerful, but his pale eyes showed curiosity. Instead of the desire to hunt, Captain, he said and bowed his head respectfully. Thank you for letting me come with you on this mission. Thank you for volunteering. So Young replied, fair warning, rescue missions can be very complicated. Sometimes the hardest part is not fighting the enemy. The hardest part is making sure everyone gets home safely. Hyunsu expression changed to something that looked like excitement. That sounds exactly like the kind of challenge I need to understand. As their shuttle left the space station and flew toward the mining station, neither of them saw the crowd of alien observers watching from the observation windows. Drbo Ram stood among them with her instruments recording everything as she spoke quietly into her research recorded. A4 of human integration study. The Predator has chosen to become a protector. This could change everything we know about the nature of strength and the meaning of power. The implications for coalition society may be more profound than we can imagine. The shuttle flew through space toward mining station Kappa 7, where 17 innocent people were waiting for rescue. Inside the shuttle, a human Navy SEAL and the galaxy's most perfect killer were about to learn what they could accomplish when they worked together instead of against each other. Real test was just beginning, and it would determine not just whether humans belonged in the coalition, but whether the coalition was ready to become something better than it had ever been before. The universe was about to see what happened when protection became more important than destruction, when saving lives mattered more than taking them. This was no longer just about proving human worth. This was about discovering what all the species in the galaxy could become if they chose cooperation over competition, compassion over conquest. The two most unlikely partners in the galaxy were about to show everyone what was truly possible when strength was used to build instead of tear down. Mining station Kappa 7 hung in space like a broken jewel, its communication arrays dark and its docking bays sealed. The pirate vessel attached to its hull like a parasite was twice the size of So Young's shuttle, bristling with weapons that could vaporize their small craft in seconds. 17 hostages confirmed, So Young reported, studying the scanner readings. 8 humans, 9 coalition civilians of various species. The pirates are Ravager clan, known for taking slaves rather than killing prisoners outright. Hyunsu studied the tactical display with interest. What is our approach, Captain? We go in quiet. The station's maintenance tunnels should be unguarded since pirates typically don't expect rescue attempts through waste processing systems. Any other species would have protested the unglamorous infiltration route, but Hyunsu simply nodded. Lead the way. The next hour proved educational for both of them. So Young moved through the station's cramped service corridors with the fluid efficiency of someone who had spent years in similar environments. But what impressed Hyansu wasn't her physical skill. It was her constant awareness of their mission. Parameters. 2 guards outside the main holding area, she whispered, studying the thermal readings on her scanner. We could take them silently, but there's a risk they might trigger an alarm. I could eliminate them before they could react, Hyansu offered quietly. Could you do it without killing them? The question stopped him cold. In his entire existence, violence had meant death. The concept of measured force, of using his abilities to disable rather than destroy, had never occurred to him. I don't know. I've never tried. So Young's tactical mind was already working on the problem. Show me your reflexes. When I move, catch my hand before it reaches my weapon, but don't hurt me. Hyansu's enhanced nervous system processed the challenge instantly. As So Young's hand flashed toward her sidearm, his own hand intercepted it with impossible speed and precision, stopping her motion without causing pain or injury. Perfect, she breathed. You can control your strength. That means you can choose how much force to use. The concept revolutionized his thinking. For the first time in his existence, Hyansu had options beyond total destruction. Their infiltration of the holding area became a master class in precision. Teamwork. So Young disabled the electronic locks while Hyansu used his enhanced senses to monitor guard positions. When intervention became necessary, he moved like liquid lightning, rendering pirates unconscious before they could raise alarms. But the real test came when they found the hostages. The 8 human engineers were clustered together, showing signs of rough treatment but maintaining surprising morale. The 9 coalition civilians, however, were in various states of panic and despair. A young Zephyrion, barely out of adolescence, was particularly traumatized, her crystalline nervous system flickering with erratic patterns. The shuttle can't carry everyone in one trip, So Young realized, studying the cramped passenger compartment specifications. Any military commander would face the same terrible calculation. Save some now and risk the others. Or attempt a more dangerous plan to save everyone together. Hyansu watched So Young's face as she processed the options, and he saw something that changed his understanding of humanity forever. There was no calculation in her expression, no weighing of acceptable losses. Her decision was instant and absolute. We all leave together, or nobody leaves, she said firmly. Captain, the tactical situation will adapt to our requirements. She finished. Hyansu, how long can you hold the docking bay against the entire pirate crew? His predator instincts automatically calculated threat assessments and survival probabilities. Against 37 armed pirates in a confined space, even his enhanced abilities would eventually be overwhelmed. But as he looked at the hostages, at the hope in their eyes and the trust they placed in this small human woman, Hyansu discovered something new about himself. As long as you need, Captain. The next 20 minutes became legendary among coalition military historians. Captain So Young evacuated 17 hostages using a maintenance shuttle designed for cargo transport, performing mechanical miracles to create life support for beings with different atmospheric requirements. Meanwhile, Hyansu held the main docking bay using non-lethal techniques he invented in real time, keeping 37 pirates unconscious, but alive through precise application of force. When their shuttle finally broke free of the station, carrying all 17 hostages to safety, the coalition observers tracking the mission were speechless. Dr. Bioram was the first to find her voice. The human didn't just complete the mission, she changed the predator into something new. General Taman stared at the successful rescue statistics, his forearms trembling slightly. They saved everyone. Every single being. No acceptable losses, no tactical compromises. In the shuttle, So Young was checking on the rescued civilians when Hyansu approached her. Captain, I need to ask you something. Of course. Why didn't you leave some of them behind? It would have been safer, more practical. Any rational commander would have prioritized the evacuation. So Young looked at him with those steady eyes that had impressed him from the beginning, because that's not who we are. Humans don't leave people behind, not when there's another option. Even a dangerous one. Hyunsu was quiet for a long moment, processing this revelation. Finally, he spoke. I think I understand now why I couldn't fight you. You represent something my species never evolved, the strength to choose compassion over efficiency. And you, So Young replied, represent something we never expected to find, a being powerful enough to choose mercy over destruction. As their shuttle docked with the Coalition station, carrying 17 saved lives and 1 transformed predator, the galaxy quietly began to change. The test had ended, but the real story was just beginning. Word spread quickly through Coalition. Space. The humans had not only proven their worth, they had taught their most dangerous weapon to become a protector. Within weeks, other apex predators from different species began requesting assignments with human units, eager to learn what it meant to save lives instead of taking them. Captain, So Young returned to Earth with new understanding of humanity's place in the galaxy while Hyunsu requested permanent assignment to Coalition rescue operations. Together, they had demonstrated that true strength wasn't about the ability to destroy, but about the wisdom to protect. The galaxy was becoming a safer place, one saved life at a time.